The laws of war are older than kingdoms, older than empires, older even than the swords and shields that once enforced them. They are not merely strategies carved into scrolls. They are the blood rules of human conflict, etched into the marrow of history, repeated across centuries, obeyed by generals and kings, whether they understood them or not. And though the world has changed, though tanks have replaced horses, satellites replaced scouts, and drones replaced arrows, the ancient laws of war remain untouched, controlling the world today with invisible chains. Nations rise and fall by them. Corporations maneuver as armies once did. Politicians play them like instruments, and even the battles within your own life are bound by them. 10 ancient laws, as eternal as gravity, as merciless as time, still shape every victory and every defeat. To know them is to see through illusion. To ignore them is to live blind, a pawn in a game you cannot escape. The first law is that war is deception. Sun Tzu wrote that all warfare is based on deception, but this was not merely his wisdom. It was the truth known to every general who ever walked the earth. Hannibal lured Roman armies into traps with false retreats. Mongol horsemen faked flight only to encircle their enemies. Medieval kings spread rumors to break morale before swords were ever drawn. And today the law has not changed. Modern wars are fought not only on battlefields but in minds, where deception is broadcast through media, through propaganda, through the manipulation of perception. When you watch the news, when you read the statements of leaders, you are already inside the battlefield of deception. Every advertisement is a war for your attention. Every politician's speech is a campaign of illusion. To believe what you are told without question is to already be conquered. The second law is that war demands unity. No army, however vast, can endure if it is divided. History is littered with empires that collapsed not from the strength of enemies, but from weakness within. The Greeks were undone by their rivalries. The Muslim world fractured and allowed the Crusaders to thrive. Rome split and was devoured from both inside and out. A divided house cannot stand, whether it is a nation, a company, or a family. Today, this law still rules silently. Leaders know that unity is the weapon that makes men march into fire, and division is the poison that makes them collapse without a fight. That is why systems today thrive on controlling the narratives of unity and division. Because to unify people around an idea is to command them, and to divide them against each other is to weaken them into obedience. The third law is that war rewards patience. The impatient general charges and falls. The patient general waits and strikes when the enemy exposes himself. Hannibal waited for years in Italy, wearing down Rome without direct confrontation. Salahuddin waited as Crusader arrogance grew fat before striking at Hattin. Even Genghis Khan, master of speed, knew the patience of positioning, circling prey until the perfect moment. Today, wars are not only fought with weapons, but with sanctions, blockades, and economic sieges, all of which demand patience. Corporations wage war in markets by starving out competitors, waiting for them to bleed. On a personal level, patience remains war's secret weapon. The man who can endure, who can delay gratification, who can wait for the exact moment to act, will always defeat the man who rushes blindly forward. The fourth law is that war demands discipline. Armies of tens of thousands collapse into chaos if men cannot control themselves. The Spartan phalanx held not because of strength, but because of discipline, each man locking shield to shield, each trusting the other to hold. The Roman legions conquered the Mediterranean because their soldiers could build camps, march in order, fight as one, and obey commands, even when fear screamed at them to run. Discipline is what transforms crowds into armies, chaos into order, fear into force. And though battlefields today are filled with technology, discipline remains law. Soldiers must endure training, restraint, and endless drills because without discipline, weapons are useless. And for you, this law is still absolute. Without discipline, no strategy, no knowledge, no plan will survive first contact with chaos. Discipline is the shield against collapse, whether in war or in life. The fifth law is that war thrives on intelligence. Not wisdom in the abstract, but intelligence in its most ruthless form. Knowing where the enemy sleeps, where he eats, where he hides, where he is weakest. Armies of the past sent scouts into enemy lands, spies into courts, traitors into households. Wars were won long before the first sword was drawn, because one side knew what the other did not. And today, this law has only grown more monstrous. Intelligence is the god of modern war. Satellites track armies. Surveillance networks monitor entire populations. Data replaces spies. Algorithms predict behavior before you act. Every app you use, every search you type, every conversation recorded is part of this new battlefield. The law remains the same. He who controls information controls war. He who is blind to it is already defeated. The sixth law is that war is economy. Armies cannot march without food, without pay, without supplies. Napoleon himself said, "An army marches on its stomach." Rome did not expand because of ideals, but because of grain, trade routes, and tribute. Genghis Khan built an empire, not only on horses, but on the wealth of captured cities and the networks of commerce they controlled. Today, this law is more visible than ever. Wars are fought over oil, over resources, over trade routes, masked as ideology. Economic sanctions are themselves weapons of war, starving nations into submission. Even your daily life is ruled by this law. You are either a producer or a consumer, a victor or a pawn. And in every economic struggle, the ancient law of supply and demand is the battlefield. The seventh law is that war demands adaptability. The general who clings to one method is already defeated. Hannibal crossed the Alps because Rome never imagined he could. The Mongols used speed to shatter medieval armies that were too rigid. Alexander changed formations mid-battle to confuse his enemies. Adaptability is the soul of survival, the ability to bend without breaking, to change strategy when the wind shifts. And in today's world, this law is everywhere. Nations adapt new technologies. Corporations pivot to new markets. Leaders reshape narratives overnight. Those who cling to what once worked collapse. Those who adapt rule. On the battlefield of life, the same truth reigns: adapt or die. The eighth law is that war consumes itself if unchecked. Every empire that rose on conquest eventually fell to its own hunger. Alexander conquered the known world, but died at 32. His empire shattered before it was built. Rome devoured itself in civil wars. Napoleon's ambition bled France dry. War is a fire, and fire consumes everything, including the hand that wields it. This law is visible today in nations overstretched, in corporations that grow too large and collapse, in individuals who burn themselves with their own ambition. The law is merciless, War feeds, but it also feeds on its master. The ninth law is that war is psychological. Victory is not only the breaking of armies, it is the breaking of spirit. The Persians fell to Alexander not only because of tactics, but because his reputation made them fear him before battle. Genghis Khan spread terror so vast that cities surrendered without a fight, choosing submission over annihilation. Modern wars use bombs not only to destroy, but to intimidate. Media not only to inform, but to paralyze. Today, wars are fought on screens, where fear is manufactured, morale is engineered, and perception is the true battlefield. On the personal level, the same truth is merciless. The man who breaks your will has defeated you before he lifts a hand. The 10th law is that war is eternal. History is a cycle of conflict. Peace is only the space between battles, and every man, whether he chooses or not, is born into a world where struggle is unavoidable. War changes its mask. Sometimes spears, sometimes cannons, sometimes treaties, sometimes stock markets. But the law remains unchanged. To live is to fight, whether against nations, against systems, against rivals, or against your own weaker self. The man who denies this law lives blind. The man who accepts it sees the battlefield for what it is and learns to move within it. These 10 laws are not dead relics. They are the invisible architecture of the present. They explain why nations manipulate, why leaders deceive, why corporations consume, why systems divide. They are the laws you are bound by whether you acknowledge them or not. To know them is to step out of illusion. To ignore them is to remain a pawn. They are not commandments to glorify war. They are revelations of reality. And reality does not care whether you like it or not. Remember this: deception still rules, unity still strengthens, patience still wins, discipline still protects, intelligence still decides, economy still fuels, adaptability still saves, ambition still consumes, psychology still breaks, and eternity still demands the fight. These laws bind nations and men alike. They whisper through every negotiation, every market, every headline. You live inside their shadow every day. To deny them is to be ruled by them. To know them is to begin to master them. And so the question remains, not whether these laws control the world, for they do, but whether you will remain blind to them or whether you will see. Will you live as a pawn moved by hands you cannot see? Or will you rise as one who understands the ancient game? The world is still war, whether you wish it or not. The 10 laws still decide everything, whether you know them or not. You cannot escape them. You can only awaken to them. And once awakened, you will never look at the world the same again.